WWE SmackDown Results, the 17th of February 2023. The Elimination Chamber Go-Home edition of WWE SmackDown on Fox opens up with a graphic in memory of Jerry Jarrett, the legendary promoter who passed away at the age of 80 on Tuesday. We cut to a look back at last week's show and how undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions the Usos retained the SmackDown Tag Team titles over Ricochet and Braun Strowman. We also see last week's related backstage segments with the Usos talking to Paul Heyman and Sami Zayn. We cut to the standard opening video, and now we're live from the sold-out Bell Center in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, as the pyro goes off and Michael Cole welcomes us. He's joined at ringside by Corey Graves. We see the Elimination Chamber structure hanging high above the ring for tomorrow's Premium Live event. The announcers hype Zayn's big homecoming for later tonight. Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler versus Natalya and Shotzi. We go right to the ring and out first comes Natalya for the opener. She stops and gives her shades to a young fan at ringside. Shotzi is out next with her taking care of business tank as Samantha Irvin does the introductions. Shotzi fires a shot from the TCB tank, then rushes the ring. We cut to a video package showing what happened to set this match up. The music hits and out next comes Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey, both wearing their respective GI and black belts. The bell rings and Baszler and Natalya go at it. Baszler strikes first but hate angle. Rousey tags into boos as she faces off with Natalya. They lock up and a "you can't wrestle" chant starts up at someone. They tangle and Rousey avoids a sharpshooter, then they face off. Baszler and Shotzi tag in. Shotzi and Baszler go at it with fans chanting for Shotzi. Shotzi gets the upper hand with strikes. Baszler unloads in the corner and in comes Rousey off the tag to boos. Rousey uses the ropes for a submission and she takes advantage of the count as fans boo. Baszler comes back in but Shotzi ends up drop-kicking her. Rousey comes right back in but Shotzi launches her with a big throw for two, right into a bridging submission. Rousey fights up and out but Shotzi fights free from her shoulders. Shotzi sends Rousey through the ropes to the floor. Baszler encourages Rousey from a distance but Shotzi nails a suicide dive. Natalya comes over and levels Baszler at ringside with a lariat to save Shotzi. Shotzi goes to the top and flies with a dive to take Rousey and Baszler back down in front of the announce table. Shotzi and Natalya celebrate as we go to commercial. Back from the break and Baszler takes Shotzi down in the middle of the ring, then goes to work on her fingers and arm. Shotzi finally fights out but gets sent to the corner. Baszler drops Natalya with a cheap shot on the corner. Rousey tags in but Shotzi fights them both off, sending Baszler to the floor. Rousey grabs Shotzi from the apron but Shotzi catches her, spiking her into the edge of the apron while Shotzi falls out to the floor. Baszler picks Rousey up and rolls her back in. Shotzi rocks Baszler with an enziguri. Natalya tags in and runs wild on Baszler. Natalya with a snap suplex. Baszler blocks a kick but Natalya nails a German suplex. Baszler misses the high knee in the corner, then Natalya catches her with a running sit-down powerbomb in the middle of the ring for two. Baszler fights off the sharpshooter but Natalya the Kirifuda clutch. More back and forth now. Natalya ends up pulling Rousey in the ring. Natalya sends Baszler to the floor. Shotzi tags in and they try for the heart attack but Baszler yanks Natalya to the floor to make the save. Rousey and Shotzi go at it now, and Rousey drops Shotzi into the armbar for the win in the middle of the ring. Winners, Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. After the match, Rousey's music hits as she and Baszler stand tall to boos. Natalya recovers at ringside but she's still down. Rousey and Baszler exit the ring together while taunting the crowd. Still to come, Sami Zayn's homecoming, and a look at what's happened with the bloodline. Also, it looks like Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy are here as we see them flash across the screen. Back to commercial. Back from the break and we get a video package on some of Sami Zayn's history with the bloodline. We go back to the ring and Hit Row is already waiting with Mix, B-Fab, Brianna Brandy, Ashanti the Adonis and Top Dollar Edge Francis begin rapping to Booze. Dollar mentions how Montreal didn't show them any love last time they were here. They continue rapping and the screen flashes an interruption, perhaps for Bray Wyatt. They go on rapping until the lights go out. The lights come back up now but they're low, the arena is lit up by fireflies from the fans. Wyatt is standing on one side of the apron, Uncle Howdy is on the other. B-Fab retreats while Dollar and Adonis get ready to fight. Howdy and Wyatt enter the ring. Howdy decks Adonis while Wyatt tosses Dollar to the floor. Adonis stumbles around into a mandible claw from Wyatt. Wyatt then sends Adonis into a Sister Abigail by Howdy. Wyatt and Howdy stand tall now. Wyatt says hello to Montreal. Fans pop and chant thank you Wyatt. Now. Wyatt says now that he's once again in control of himself, in control of his family. He wanted to be the first to tell us this, tomorrow night at WWE Elimination Chamber. Bobby Lashley or Brock Lesnar, whichever walks out of their match alive, whichever is the winner, just know. You should run. Fans pop as the screen abruptly cuts to black. We see Drew McIntyre backstage getting hyped up with the Brawling Brutes. Back to commercial. Back from the break and we see the Kansas City Chiefs and quarterback Patrick Mahomes celebrating their NFL Super Bowl VI win with a custom WWE title belt. Tonight's progressive match flow video looks back at last week's fatal four-way to crown a new #1 contender to WWE Intercontinental Champion Gunther. Madcap Moss defeated Rey Mysterio, Santos Escobar and Karrion Kross to earn tonight's title shot. Madcap Moss is backstage with Emma now. He says no one expected him to win the fatal four-way last week. Emma says she did because nobody wins like Moss and nobody has a physique like him, so now it's his time to shine. Moss says it is just his time to shine and as many doubters he has, they were wrong last week and they can keep being wrong until they realize Madcap is a superstar. Cole sends us to combat sports journalist Ariel Helwani, who is in the hometown crown with some fans who are very excited to see Sami Zayn tonight. The Viking Raiders vs Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. We go back to the ring and out first comes Sheamus for the next match. Drew McIntyre is out next and they head to the ring together. The music hits and out next comes the Viking Raiders, Eric and Ivar with Valhalla. The bell rings as Ivar starts off with Sheamus. Ivar quickly ducks a brogue kick but Sheamus dodges the heel kick. They tumble to the floor and brawl around the ringside area now as Drew and Eric join in. Drew launches Eric into the barrier. Sheamus brings Ivar back in and clotheslines him right back to the floor for a pop. The Vikings regroup with Valhalla as we go back to commercial. Back from the break and Eric has Sheamus down in the corner. We see how the Vikings dominated during the break to turn it around. Ivar tags in and grounds Sheamus while Drew rallies the crowd. Ivar with big elbows to Sheamus in the corner now. Eric tags back in and works Sheamus over as Valhalla looks on. Eric chokes Sheamus with the middle rope as Valhalla stares at Sheamus and smiles. Eric rocks Sheamus and tags Ivar back in. Ivar drops Sheamus and knocks Drew off the apron. Sheamus finally decks Ivar and they both go down. Drew and Eric both tag in and go at it. Drew unloads and nails a big belly-to-belly suplex from the corner. Ivar runs in but Drew nails a neckbreaker, then a neckbreaker to Eric. Drew kips up for a big pop. Eric blocks the future shock DDT with right hands. They tangle and Drew nails the Michinoku driver for a close 2 count. Sheamus assists and then tags in after Drew nails a Glasgow kiss to Ivar. Sheamus runs into a big kick in the corner. Ivar climbs to the top as fans boo now. Sheamus cuts Ivar off and climbs up for a super white noise to Ivar, slamming them both to the mat. Sheamus and Ivar are down as we go back to commercial. Back from the break and we see Sheamus and Drew hitting stereo 10 beats of the Bodhrán to Eric and Ivar. Drew drops Ivar and Sheamus nails a top rope flying knee drop, but Eric breaks the pin up at 2. Sheamus slams Eric now, then plays to the crowd for loud cheers. Sheamus calls for the brogue kick, but Eric catches him with a sloppy powerbomb into the ropes. Eric levels Sheamus for a close 2 count. Eric goes to the middle rope and flies, but Sheamus nails the pump kick to the jaw in midair. Drew tags in and readies for the Claymore kick, but Ivar pulls Eric to the floor. Drew runs the ring instead, then laps out to take the Viking Raiders down for a big pop. Drew rolls Eric back in, but Valhalla yells at him from the apron, allowing Ivar to tag in. Eric spikes Drew to the mat as he turns around. Ivar goes to the corner and Eric hands Drew to him. Ivar hits the big middle rope slam, but Sheamus breaks the pin up as Valhalla screams out. Eric sends Sheamus into the ring post shoulder first. Drew with a Glasgow kiss to Eric, but Ivar levels Drew with a spin kick. Ivar goes back to the top for the Viking splash, but Drew still kicks out in time. Valhalla can't believe it. Eric tags back in, but Sheamus nails a brogue kick to prevent them from hitting Ragnarok to Drew. Drew comes right back with a Claymore to Eric for the pin to win. Winners, Drew McIntyre and Sheamus. After the match, Drew and Sheamus stand tall as the music hits. We go to replays as an angry Valhalla looks on. Sheamus and Drew hit the corners to pose now. The announcers send us to another video on Sami Zayn's history with the Bloodline, starting with what happened at the Royal Rumble. Still to come, Zayn returns home later tonight. Asuka vs Liv Morgan. We go back to the ring and out comes Raw superstar Asuka. She looks at the Elimination Chamber hanging high above the ring, then continues her entrance. Back to commercial. Back from the break and Kayla Braxton is backstage with Rey Mysterio. We see last week's post-show video where Rey and Santos Escobar exchanged masks. Escobar handed a mask to Rey and said this doesn't mean he doesn't want Rey's legacy, but this is the ultimate show of respect and he respects who Rey is. Rey hands a mask to Escobar and says he hopes this will let Escobar create his own legacy. Rey says something about respect in Spanish, then they embrace. Rey tells Braxton that he knows that meant a lot to Santos and if he's being honest, it meant the world to him as well. Rey says competition is always welcome in WWE and respect is. Karrion Kross interrupts with Scarlett as fans boo in the arena. Kross says once upon a time he wanted to be a father, but then after the lack of respect and look of disgust he saw in Dominic Mysterio's eyes for Rey, Kross thought to himself, maybe that's not for him because unlike Rey, Kross can walk around this place and not hide his face in shame under a mask for being a pathetic excuse for a father. Kross goes on as Rey stares up at him, seething. Kross tells Rey to do something about it. Tick-tock. Kross walks off as an angry Rey looks on. We go back to the ring and out comes Liv Morgan while Asuka looks on. Carmella has joined the announcers for commentary. Cole brings up how Carmella caused this match by creating drama on social media. Asuka and Liv start off but break and taunt each other. Asuka offers her hand for a shake but pulls it back. They go at it and Liv unloads. Liv with kicks. Asuka catches a kick and nails a German suplex. Asuka slides in with a kick for 2. Asuka grounds Liv now. Raquel Rodriguez comes walking down the ramp now. She taunts Carmella at the announce table, and they have words. Nikki Cross appears from out of nowhere. She messes with Cole, slobbering all over him, and spills out on top of the announce table. Asuka and Liv continue their match as Cross sits on Wade's lap. Liv catches Asuka out of nowhere with Oblivion, but Asuka kicks out just in time. Back to commercial. Back from the break and Natalya is also at ringside as Liv fights out of a hold by Asuka. The other Elimination Chamber participants look on. Liv flies at Asuka but Asuka nails a knee for 2. Asuka with kicks while Liv is on her knees now. Liv yells at Asuka to bring it. Asuka with a roundhouse but Liv comes right back with a slap. Asuka laughs. Asuka tells Liv to bring it. They go at it in the middle of the ring. Liv gets the upper hand and sends Asuka to the corner with an enziguri. Liv with a corner back splash, then a high knee. Liv hangs Asuka up on the top rope, then keeps fighting, hitting the codebreaker, but Asuka gets right back up. Liv ducks a kick and rolls Asuka for 2. Asuka goes right into the Asuka lock in the middle of the ring for the win. Winner, Asuka. After the match, Asuka stands tall as her music hits. Carmella rushes in and super kicks Asuka. Natalya drops Carmella. Cross with the neck breaker on Natalya. Raquel with the Texana bomb to Cross. Raquel approaches Liv in the corner and offers a hand to help her up. Raquel points up at the Elimination Chamber, but Liv stuns her with the Oblivion, then Asuka drops Liv with a kick. Asuka and Liv face off in the middle of the ring now. Liv laughs and blows a kiss at Asuka, then exits the ring as her music starts up. Asuka laughs now. We go back to Ariel Helwani in the crowd. He's with fans who are chanting for Sami Zayn. They're ready to raise a banner in Zayn's name and party like it's 1993. Imperium is backstage with Kayla Braxton now. She asks about what Madcap Moss had to say earlier tonight. WWE Intercontinental Champion Gunther says he could care less what Moss said, he made it this far and that's very good for him. But one impressive win and words of encouragement from a girl doesn't change anything. Gunther says he's dominated for 250 days and just like everybody else who challenges him on that sacred mat out there, Moss will fall to the ring general. Imperium heads out. WWE Intercontinental title match, Madcap Moss vs Gunther. We go back to the ring and out first comes Imperium, WWE Intercontinental Champion Gunther with Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci. Gunther marches to the ring as Kaiser and Vinci return to the backstage area. Gunther hits the ring and poses as we go back to commercial. Back from the break and out comes Madcap Moss with Emma. We get formal ring introductions from Samantha Irvin. The bell rings and Moss goes for a takedown, but Gunther takes him to the corner, then unloads with strikes. Moss charges and lands a takedown. Moss works Gunther over on the mat, taking him to the corner for shoulder thrusts. The ring general with a big body shot against the ropes, then a headlock takedown. Gunther grounds Moss now. Moss fights up and out, but Gunther drops him with a shoulder. Moss with forearm shots. Gunther with a big shoulder, then a chop and a big boot to the face. Moss kicks out at 2. Gunther with a standing headlock now. Moss tries to slam Gunther, but Gunther takes him back down. Moss rocks Gunther in the corners now to mount a fence, but Gunther easily shuts him down with another headlock. Fans chant for Gunther, but Moss catches him with a big spine buster for 2. Moss charges and knocks Gunther through the ropes to the floor. Moss stands tall in the ring while Gunther is down at ringside. Back to commercial. Back from the break and they're chopping each other. Moss goes down. More back and forth now. Moss with a back suplex. Moss with more offense now. Gunther with a big chop. They trade suplex attempts now. Moss with a long vertical suplex, then a swinging neck breaker for a close 2 count. Moss with a running thrust and he corner. Moss fights off a sleeper hold. Gunther tries again but ends up chopping Moss down. Gunther goes top but Moss cuts him off with a forearm. Moss climbs up but Gunther knocks him to the mat. Gunther goes for the flying headbutt it looks like, but Moss jumps up top to cut him off. They tangle up top now until Moss hits a super fall away slam. Gunther kicks out just in time as a frustrated Emma looks on. Gunther applies the sleeper now as Moss starts to fade. Fans begin the Sami Zayn Ole chants. Moss tries to fight free from the hold, but Gunther repositions and hits the powerbomb in the middle of the ring for the pin to win. Winner, Gunther. After the match, Gunther stands tall with the title in the air as the music hits. Moss and Emma look on from the entranceway. Still to come, Sami Zayn comes home. Back to commercial. Back from the break and out comes Sami Zayn to a huge hometown pop from the Montreal crowd. Zayn stops and stands on the stage to take it all in as fans begin singing his theme song. Zayn then rushes the ring, almost slips on the top turnbuckle, then hits the ring as the Olay chants start up. Zayn walks around the ring for a few minutes as fans chant and sing. You deserve it chant starts up now. Fans chant Sami. Now. It looks like Sami is finally about to speak, but the Olay chants drown him out again. We're having some audio issues, but it sounds like Sami addresses his friends in French to start. He says tomorrow night will be once in a lifetime. He addresses undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns next, but says something in French, which causes the crowd to erupt. Sami says it's not just Sami versus Reigns tomorrow night, it's Reigns versus Sami and the entire city of Montreal. The crowd goes wild. Sami screams out and says Roman is going down tomorrow night at WWE Elimination Chamber. Sami tosses the mic as the music starts back up. The final SmackDown before WWE Elimination Chamber goes off the air with Zayn playing to the crowd as they cheer him on.